So I just found out that Kim Kardashian is getting sued for advertising that she has an original piece of furniture when it is in fact not original. She is the center of attention of the media again. Wow, shocking. I'm sure most of you have already seen my viral video of my home review that I did of her sad beige home, so you already know how I feel about this scandal. But honestly, this opens it up to so many questions about the dupe and furniture impression market, and I felt like this deserves a deeper conversation because it has completely split the internet in half in terms of people that are for and people who are against, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. I'd also like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. The big reason she's in hot water right now is that she did the tour of the Skims office and she's in the kitchen and event space, and she mentioned how much she loves and appreciates furniture, and she also even commented like, any furniture person is going to appreciate what I have. And then she goes on to talk about these Donald Judd tables and chairs in the space, which are, surprise, not the real thing. Like, some time has passed and the Judd Foundation saw the video and was like, excuse me, these are not done by us, and immediately filed a lawsuit for copyright infringement on the designer as well as Kim Kardashian herself. So it turns out that the designer, Clement's Design, that did the space for Skims, drew up these plans to have them custom made as they were inspired by the Donald Judd pieces, which led the foundation to actually sue the design firm first. Now this is where it gets really messy because we aren't stupid. We're living in the day of fast fashion and dupe markets like everywhere and around every corner. Like, we have Zara duping Saint Laurent and Gucci, and we have DHgate and the Chinatown on Canal Street in New York that are ripping off Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and every possible designer you can imagine. But where does that line get crossed when it comes to an artist and authentic integrity, and what's worse, inauthentic bags and accessories or furniture? And who has the artistic merit that owns these designs, and what kind of company is really producing on that mass market? Like, we already know that LVMH literally is owning the mass production of thousands of bags, which really, are they really creative at the end of the day when you're making that many of them? But we all know that they are created and done for an iconic design itself. There's a major difference in people online that are buying dupes. They're the ones that are proudly sharing that they're dupes and saying that they're dupes. But then you have the really unfortunate and clever ones that are buying the dupes and trying to pass them off as the real thing. Well, I don't know the official price of these tables and chair sets that Kim Kardashian is talking about. The average price of one of the Donald Judd chairs goes for about $4,000. So if I can even estimate, one of these sets is probably somewhere between, $150,000 to $250,000. So let's be real. Her net worth, I think, is like $1.7 billion. So she has absolutely no problem when it comes to purchasing the real thing. But this is also not the first time that the Jenner and Kardashian family has been under fire for saying they have authentic furniture pieces when it turns out not to be. So it leads me to the first question that I have is, do you think that they really knew that this was authentic, even working so closely with the design team to get the look that they wanted, or is ignorance bliss? Now let's really discuss this and why there's so much controversy around it, because opens it up to a much longer conversation around people buying dupes and the reality of how expensive some of these things really are. I firmly believe that if you have the means and the funds to purchase a designer item to support the art behind it, then I will always recommend going that route. But if you're going to be purchasing the dupe, I will never shame someone for doing that, because you're not trying to pass it off as the real thing. Clearly, this is open up to interpretation and a lawsuit at the end of the day. But it also comes down to a lot of trouble if you ever try and resell those furniture pieces and claim it for what it is and what it isn't, as clearly selling fraudulent on anything or inauthentic items are illegal. But be real with yourself. If I see a majority of IKEA furniture in a space and an iconic toga sofa mixed in, it's a pretty narrow road to determining it's most likely inauthentic, as these usually go for about $5,000 plus. You know what also feels illegal that isn't? How good my website is. Honestly, Squarespace has been fantastic when it came to me building my business, because let's be honest, when I first started, I had no idea how to make a website, how to have revenue come in, how to have clients contact me. It was a complete mess, and I literally spent weeks trying to consider how to actually put it together. With Squarespace templates, I was able to build my entire website from scratch with everything I had in, and all of the templates they had really allowed you to make it look, in my opinion, aesthetic. Most websites are really challenging to actually formulate how you want it to look and how you want that look to achieve to attract clients. The way that I did it is very clean, very simple. You can have all of your projects on there, you can have your portfolio, and most importantly, a contact landing page. For anyone starting a new business, this is absolutely necessary to have clients be able to contact you and funnel all of those submissions into your email. You can head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your website, you can go to squarespace.com/DesignDaddy to save 10% on your purchase of a website or domain using code DesignDaddy. Come on guys, I need you to sign up for this because we are so close to purchasing Rhea a new bed. One more click of you using DesignDaddy on that code and I'm gonna be able to get a new bed for Rhea. Now that we're back, the gray area for this whole controversy is really wild because in the eyes of the law, if you go online, even if you search like Eames chair, for example, you're gonna find a dupe first before you actually come across the real thing for sale. The key terms that keeps these companies and manufacturers out of hot water is how they describe the actual product itself. They use words like reproduction, impression, look-alike, duplicate, or even replica, so they can't be sued. And even though they're not technically selling the real deal, this is where those synonyms can get you off the hook of a heavy lawsuit. Nobody wants a lawsuit. The other one factor that saves a lot of people in these dupe manufacturers is what they look like and the single alternative change of the designs that actually protects themselves. For example, I've seen some chairs that have like a minor defect on them of the wood grain, or maybe it's off a little bit center, or even the base having an extra leg that some people wouldn't really notice. I've seen a lot of different buttons even used for tufting that allows these manufacturers to actually argue the likeness that is not 100% duplicated. Now I have to ask my second question. If you had the means to purchase the real thing, would you? Or would you rather save that money on a dupe and put money towards other furniture? Now let me know in the comments. Now that's the one question that gets everyone fired up, because let's be honest, some areas of the world that we live in, people are struggling to pay rent, or if you live in Canada, we're literally going through a housing crisis where the idea of home ownership is so far out of reach that your temporary spaces are now becoming long-term homes. Regardless of your financial situation, this is a little reminder to say that if you buy the real thing, that's fantastic. You are supporting either the living artist or the foundation that carries out their legacy. If you do end up buying the dupe, trust me, no judgment from me, but make sure that you say it's a replica or a dupe, or use one of those incredible synonyms that I gave you earlier, because you're going to save yourself the trouble. In both cases, the appreciation of the design is there, and at the end of the day, that's the most important part. No one says, hey, I love that chair. It's an iconic chair. They're like, oh no, I love your Eames chair. Iconic goes beyond the ordinary label. Like take Dyson, for example. No one says, oh my God, I love your vacuum. They're like, no, I love your Dyson. So I want to start a healthy conversation about this because honestly, the topic is so polarizing. I've had clients that want to have these iconic furniture pieces that don't want to pay upwards of $10,000 for a sofa. There are so many fabricators and manufacturers out there that can make these items at a fraction of the price anywhere you look online. As I mentioned before, if you're searching for these iconic pieces, you're able to find a dupe before you find the real thing online. And if you're looking at the real thing online, honestly, the only real authentic ones are either coming from First Dibs or those actual fabricators that belong to the company that are making these items. And if you're looking at them, like the price is absolutely wild. Design, in my opinion, needs to be within reach, but then it kind of crosses the line of what is luxurious and what isn't. And is the price tag associated with the luxury, or is the price tag of luxury associated with the name? That's what I really want to know in your opinion, because I've had clients that, like I said, want to spend upwards of how much enormous amounts of funds on furniture because they want that iconic and the real thing. But then I also have clients that are like, you know what? I want that Eames chair. I don't want to spend $20,000. Can I get it for $2,500? Can I get it for $3,500? What are the major differences of quality when it comes to making these furniture pieces? That is another really important, authentic question that you need to ask yourself. If you're spending X amount of dollars for an authentic piece that costs you above and beyond, What are the quality differences between a real and an inauthentic piece, and is it really worth it? Is there a manufacturing warranty on it? What happens if it breaks down? Are you able to send in one of your authentic pieces to be repaired, and is it going to cost you anything? Or if you're getting an inauthentic piece, if it breaks down, is it worth it to send it off repairs, or do you just buy a new one? Regardless of your financial situation, this is a little reminder to say that if you are going to buy the real thing, 100% this is fantastic, I'm on board with you. And you're actually supporting the artist or the foundation that carries out their legacy. However, if you do buy the dupe, there is no judgment from me, but please make sure that you say it's a replica or one of those many synonyms that I mentioned earlier to save yourself the trouble. In both cases, the appreciation for the design is there, and at the end of the day, that's the most important part. As always, thanks for watching, and that's all for today. But please let me know in the comments your thoughts on this topic. I know I have such a range of demographics that watch my videos, so please let me know what you think. Be sure to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok for all my daily design advice at Mr. Phoenix Gray. And if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do? Sue Kim Kardashian. So bad.